Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So the topic given for me today is, should Shariah Court have expanded jurisdiction in the modern legal system? Before that, my name is Damia Najah Aminah binti Salihuddin and my metric number is 1250233 and I'm from TLB2 KLB1. So first, we need to understand what mean by the modern legal system and also the legal pluralism. So modern legal system is a dynamic and constantly evolving with a formal institution that adapt to the societal changes. Meanwhile, legal pluralism refers to the coexisting of a different legal system within a society or geographic area. According to the LAB2013, Shariah Court is a separate court system that work parallel to the civil court. They have a limited jurisdiction over Islamic law matters and only affecting to the Muslim. Objective for today are to examine the statutory limits of Shariah Court within the Malaysian legal framework and also to evaluate whether expanding Shariah Court jurisdiction is necessary in the modern legal system. So moving on to the next part is the legal analysis. So how both court divide their power. So first, we have civil court that have power over all people. This means that this law included Muslim and also non-Muslim. Civil court derive the power from the federal law and the constitution. Civil court also can handle a broad legal area and they have power of judicial review. On the other hand, Shariah Court only apply over Muslim. It's created from state laws under the constitution and states list. This court only handle Islamic personal law, for example like marriage and custody, but they don't have judicial review like civil courts. Middle part, because it talk about statutory limitation of Shariah Court. Firstly, we have jurisdictional that only will be applied if expressly provided by the law. This means that the federal court had explained that Shariah Court must have jurisdiction that clearly conferred in the state legislation. So without a legal provision, the Shariah Court has no power even if the issue involves Islamic, personal or even family law. Furthermore, the 356 rule that I took from the Shariah Court's Criminal Jurisdiction Act 1965, Act 355, which stated that Shariah Court can hear offences under Islamic law only if the offence and punishment are within these limits, which are imprisonment up to 3 years, fine up to 5,000 ringgit, and also whipping up to 6 strokes. Moreover, Shariah Court only have jurisdiction over Muslim and a certain matter set by law, and this power come from the 9th schedule and the state list of the Federal Constitution, which allows states to make laws on Islamic matters. Lastly, we also have federal law that limits state legislative power that I took from the Article 74 and the 9th schedule, which means that the states cannot make law beyond what is allowed in the state list, and the federal law can restrict Shariah Court jurisdiction. So moving on to the next part, which are jurisdictional conflict. We have Article 121 subsection 1A that prevents civil court from hearing matters that lie within the jurisdiction of Shariah Court. However, this article does not confer jurisdiction because jurisdiction must first be granted by the state or the federal statutes. If Shariah courts overstep, then the civil court may intervene to stop them. So in the Indira Gandhi case, the Federal Court of Malaysia decided that the civil court had the power instead of Sharia, and this case is about the conversion of children to Islam without the mother consent. So the court said this was not just about religion because it involved reviewing whether an administrative action was legal and interpreting laws and the constitution. In this case, only the civil court have the power to do that because the constitution gives them judicial review and the constitutional interpretation power. Moving on to the discussion part, in this part we're going to talk about argument that support expansion of Shariah Court and the one that against. So first we have argument that supports the expansion of the Shariah Court. Firstly, we have legislative support from IAIS Malaysian 2022 that discuss about RUU 355 that related to the Shariah Court's Criminal Jurisdiction Act. They want to aim for increasing sentencing powers and expand jurisdiction of the Shariah Court beyond current limits. Proponents argue it will enable Shariah courts to deal with more Islamic offence without needing civil court involvement. Next, we have political and institutional support from Cosmo 2024 that stated about Kelantan state leaders have called for strengthened Shariah court jurisdiction, noting constitutional amendment will give new life to the institution and arguing it should be fully exercised within its competency. And lastly, we have professional support from Malay Mail 2022. After a federal court decision confirmed that Shariah Court cannot exercise judicial review, Shariah lawyers have called for amending the federal constitution so that the Shariah Court can carry out judicial review of the decision made by the state Islamic authorities. They also argue that this is appropriate because such matters that involve Islamic legal concern and Shariah courts are the suitable place. On the other hand, we also have argument that against the expanding of the Shariah court jurisdiction. First, we have Shariah courts overstepping their role because in some lawyers in Malaysia said that Shariah court are already trying to decide cases that they should not, like misfit, custody or business issue. They also warned that giving Shariah court more power could cause more problems, so it's better to keep their limits. And next we have Shariah court should not have judicial review power, that actually special power that only civil court have. Judicial review means that they have power to check if a government or authority act legally. So if Shariah court were given this power, it will confuse the legal system because civil court and the Shariah court have different roles under the constitution. The Chief Justice also said expanding Shariah court powers like this is not allowed because it will mix up things and confuse the society. As conclusion, I do believe Shariah court should expand their jurisdiction, but carefully. This expansion must stay within the law and the constitution to help Muslims get justice without causing conflict with the civil courts. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention.